Good evening, Willing. Another beautiful summer evening. I want to, this evening's topic is connected to the last session. We are speaking about personal vibrational signature, and to achieve this state of vibrational coherence in our consciousness field and in our physical body and all subtle bodies. So I explained why this coherence is important, and on vibrational level, that is the measure of coherence is the measure of development. So what I want to address this evening is one of the most stubborn resistances to this vibrational coherence. Like when you do the healing of vibrational signature method, you install your personal vibration in all consciousness space. So any information, any informational structure that is not in accord with your personal vibrational signature should be transformed, reprogrammed. Otherwise, that specific informational structure acts as a foreign body, like a computer virus, disturbing coherence and disturbing normal function. This illegitimate autonomy of subconsciousness programs can progress to such an extent that they act as an entity in itself, as a personality in itself. In extreme phases of such a development, you can have multiple personality disorder on a psychological level, and you can have cancer on a physical level. Simply that consciousness structure is instructing corresponding body cells to operate in discord from the life programs that are governing functioning of all organisms. Any cancer is starting as a consciousness structure or a program that is out of sync, out of resonance with the personal vibrational signature, with our genetic code on consciousness level. That's our personal vibrational signature, yes? So, how these kind of autonomous structures that are dysfunctional, that are not part of the unity and harmony of functioning of all consciousness and body, how they start to be, how they become, how are they created, and why. So, for example, if you have a trauma, past experience, memory of past experience that was traumatic. So there is emotional charge accumulated around this memory of unpleasant traumatic past experience. This structure, it becomes like a thought loop, like pattern of reaction to any similar situations that can trigger this reaction. So with the time, it can develop to such an extent that at some moments it can take over control over our personality. For example, you were a young child, you were passing by some fence, and suddenly dog started to bark. You jumped away in fear. It was a shock, it was stress. And this perception of dogs being threatening, scary, is formed. Similar situation can happen again. These kind of softwares, consciousness softwares, they tend to create similar situations, and gradually there can be a strong belief formed that dogs are scary. So, for example, you are visiting your friend, sitting in the house, just chatting, and your friend's dog is barking outside. You cannot concentrate. And it can come to such an extreme that you cannot think about anything else, being overflowed with this fear from dogs barking. Although dog is outside, so there is no immediate threat, but still this program is triggered and it overpowers your conscious self and takes control. At some point you may say to your friend, please, can you make your dog be silent? I cannot focus, I cannot hear what you're saying. I'm not comfortable anymore. So simply this program is taking over, kind of. We can detect manifestation of such programs also when we catch ourselves thinking, speaking, and doing something that is different or even totally opposing our initial intention. Someone is kind to you and you are witnessing yourself being unkind to that person, although your intention is to show kindness. But somehow it's coming out in the wrong way. We all have experienced that. Like, I cannot believe myself saying this or doing that. It doesn't sound like me. That's not me. Of course, these kind of things happen more easily, of course, when we are in a state of affect. So, meaning when we are not composed, balanced, centered, when there is a higher emotional temperature, when we feel uncomfortable or out of balance for whatever reason may be. And that can also go to an extreme. As I said, multiple personality disorder extreme. That we act as if we are possessed. like there is like a demon, something else taking control over our actions. For example, when we are angry, really angry, furious, that's different personality, completely. And in that state of anger, you can say or do things which you will regret after you calm down. So you act as if you are possessed, kind of. And then there is also another form of another way how this coherence of our consciousness and our signature vibration can be disturbed. And that is through these vibrational and energy parasites, like a real entity that starts to live in our consciousness space, in our aura. And you know, we should not mystify it. You have a parasite in the body, so you don't say, I am possessed by demons. These are parasites. We have so many good bacteria that are alien. They are not created by our genetic code, and still they live in symbiosis in our intestines, for example, having their role in our metabolism, digestion, and we have other type of bacteria that are acting like parasites. They're stealing our energy or nutrients. So why is it so difficult to understand that there are also parasites on energy level, like energy vampires, or informational level, like a computer virus? So, not to go into detailed explanation what kind of these entities, informational and energy entities, can be, what are their source, or whatever. For me, what is important, it is they are not carrying our personal vibrational signature. Their personal vibration is different. It can be compatible to ours, it can be neutral, and it can be also disturbing for our own vibrational signature, like harmful. Whatever the case may be, they should not be there. So, what we will do as a healing session this evening is something I see as a consciousness hygiene. Like you take at least like once a week, once a year, anti-parasite program to clear your body from parasites. So this healing session has the same purpose on informational and energy level. And the goal is to reclaim your consciousness space, to remove any entities that came within your consciousness space from outside, from collective consciousness, and to reprogram and reintegrate any consciousness programs that went rogue, that change their vibrational frequency and that disturb our vibrational coherence. So it's that simple. Like you run antivirus program. Yeah, you have a firewall, but hackers are clever and they learn continuously and seek for the ways how they can enter your computer and make some damage. So they have malicious intent. So although you have a firewall, and our firewall is being present as I am in the body and in the consciousness space, which is sphere around our body. This presence of emness is perfect firewall. When we come to this level of development, that we are continually present in all the points in our body and in all the points in the consciousness space, this sphere around the body, you don't need antivirus program. You have 100% protection. But until we come to that level of integrity, internal unity, and coherence, presence, it is wise to run antivirus program, just to check, and to remove any threatening viruses, installations, whatever is not useful, or especially if it is harmful for functioning of our consciousness computer. So again, don't mystify it. Forget about a religious perception or any kind of occult or any other perception of it. For me, it's consciousness IT work. It's consciousness computer, firewall, antivirus, program, that's all. Really simple. Being centered in yourself, being identified with this I am notion, I am feeling, and allowing expansion of this emness, feeling of your own existence within your body and within the consciousness space, you have installed perfect firewall plus antivirus program. So that is reclaimed consciousness in the body, and you are ultimate authority in that space. By the God-given right to have free will, you can always protect this space and clear this space. And it is not just right, it is duty as well. Like we have a duty to be healthy. It's not right, it's a duty. So, simple command or act of will to remove, so commanding any entity, any structure that is not in accord with our personal vibrational signature, you can do it. So there is no need for any complicated technologies, consciousness technologies, or rituals, or methods, or whatever. Simple act of will, but with from the notion of the law of free will, that we are entitled to exercise our free will. Nothing can say no to your free will. Nothing. There is no such a structure, entity, whoever, whatever. You are a god of your internal universe. You can decide what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. So I hope it is clear. Okay, let's do it. Leave your pencils, sit comfortably. You can close your eyes if you wish. Bring your attention to the point of will, which is located at the downward pointing end of your sternum, in the center of the body. Just feel this point between the chest cavity and abdominal cavity. By your presence, by presence of your attention, of your focal point of presence, it is activated. That's your keyboard. That's your control panel. From that point, any command you give is automatically executed within your consciousness space and your body space. Breathe naturally, normal pace of breathing. Inhalation, stomach is going up. Exhalation is going down. Repeat mentally after me. I remove any entities that are not having my personal vibrational signature from my consciousness space. Send one light impulse from your point of view in all directions, like there is a tiny sphere of light quickly expanding in all directions, passing through your consciousness space, like a flash of light. It is done. Repeat mentally after me. I reprogram and reintegrate all consciousness programs that are disturbing coherence of my personal vibrational signature. Again, one flash of living light, one impulse, like a light sphere quickly expanding from point of view in all directions, passing through our consciousness space and reprogramming all programs that are started to act as independent from the self. Very good. Feel your I am feeling notion of your own self present within your body and in the space around the body as well, within the spherical space of the diameter of your spread arms. Repeat mentally after me. I reclaim my consciousness space. Thank you. So you see, it is so simple and very efficient. The prerequisite, precondition for functioning of this method, I would say, this act of will, is this feeling that you are a being of free will and you're simply exercising your God-given right to decide on anything that is going on within your consciousness and within your body. With this feeling of sovereignty and authority, simple command will suffice. When you notice any obsessive thought loop, when you notice that the words you are speaking are different or even contrary to your intention, what you want to communicate, when you notice that your actions are not in accord with your feelings, it means that you have computer virus, intruder. So all you need to do is say, I reclaim my consciousness space. That's all. You don't need to say it mentally, literally. It's helpful. But all you need to do is simply send one impulse from point of view in all directions, this flash of living light, and it is transformed. So it is advisable to practice this on a regular basis. Like Yeah, you can do it once a day, you can do it once a week, or you can do it from time to time when you feel it. And as you become accustomed to it, to this process, one simple impulse of light is pronouncing or announcing, you're reclaiming the consciousness space, and that's all that needs to be done. As your consciousness space becomes clear from anything that can be like a foreign body on informational or energy level, you will become sensitive to any attempt of intrusion. So even before some informational entity or energy entity or any structure or program in your consciousness is formed or entering your consciousness space, you will detect it, you will sense it, and you immediately remove it. It's like personal space. When you speak with someone, there is a personal space you leave to that person you speak with. If someone comes this close to my face and starts to speak, even if it is gentle, kind words, loving words, I don't care. Someone enters my personal space, physical space. First thing I'm thinking about how to make more distance. And then I listen what they speak, what that person speaks. So you protect your physical space. If for any reason this personal space is violated, that's the only thing you think about, how to reclaim your physical personal space. Because it's essential for your feeling of personal integrity, or I would say integrity of your personal vibration or vibrational signature. So we can communicate without entering other people's personal physical space. The same goes for consciousness space. So you will develop this sensitivity when someone or something is violating your consciousness space, and remove it without looking at it, what it is. I don't care what it is. I don't care. Highly evolved beings are incapable of violating consciousness space. That's why they are highly evolved. So they will never do it. Anything that is facilitating my personal growth respects my consciousness space. Whatever is violating my consciousness space, that's low level frequency, that's rude. That's not acceptable. I don't look at it, I just remove it. I don't care what it is. That's improper. So, in that way, as you guard integrity and coherence of your personal vibrational signature within your consciousness space, you secure all the preconditions for fast yet safe development. And guard your health. In the first place, you're guarding your health, physical health, emotional health, mental health. So, when you are healed in this sense I'm sharing with you this evening, To be healed means to be made whole again. On information level, being whole means having coherent vibration within your aura, within your consciousness space. Then there is a simple way I want to share with you this evening how one of the methods to induce intelligent living light. So it is induction, living light, and that is to take yourself for granted. Imagine that. Take yourself for granted. When your consciousness space is clear, in this sense I just explained, whatever comes as a thought, word, or deed, action, is necessarily harmonious for the good of everyone, win-win-win situation. Always, it is impossible to harm anyone or anything by simply being authentic. What you feel, what you think, you say and do. That's all. That's what I mean when I say take yourself for granted. It means to silence any self-doubt, any self-judgment, any self-criticism. I would say to extinguish self-awareness as such. Person in love, deeply in love, loses self-awareness. Is it true or not? You had a 1 minute of feeling of deep love in your life. I'm sure. It doesn't mean, this doesn't necessarily need to be towards a human. It was towards the pet, or a plant, or a country, or an earth, or whatever, God. But you felt 1 minute of deep immersion in a state of love. And it is like why we humans, not just we humans, any form of life is obsessed with love. That's what we all seek. This experience of love. That's ultimate fulfillment. And what is characteristic for this state of deep love, true love, is absence of any kind of self-awareness. You're not aware of yourself. You forget about yourself. It's a trance-like state. You are aware only of object of your love. You lose yourself in the object of your love. So why not to live like that? What is the use of self-awareness, self-observation? We need that when our consciousness space is not coherent, when we have foreign elements or rogue programs functioning in our consciousness. You need to guard yourself. You cannot be authentic and spontaneous. Who knows what can happen? That's normal. That's rational. That's common sense. You watch what you say and what you do. You follow some social rules, yeah, in order to prevent harming anyone or anything. We need these rules when our consciousness is not coherent. But when our consciousness is coherent, our consciousness space is coherent, there is no rogue programs, active rogue programs. There is no any foreign elements or entities present within our consciousness space. Then more authentic, more spontaneous you are, more loving and more harmonious you are in your expression. So when you take yourself for granted and freely express yourself authentically without self-judgment, that state of being is the most powerful induction of living life that can be. That's godlike state. That's state of deep love. Nothing can induce living life like love. That's for sure. And love is simple authenticity without self-awareness. That is possible only when your identity is based on the notion I am. Simple feeling, notion, experience, direct experience of your own self. That's all what is needed. There are further stages of development beyond even that, but let's work on this part first, this phase first. Because ultimately, even this I am feeling is lost, like self-awareness is. So I will share with you how you prepare for this induction. Not this induction itself, because it's a living state of being. That's not a method that can be shared. After you do this healing session I shared with you this evening, you conclude with, I reclaim my consciousness space and feel present as an inner self within this consciousness space. Then you announce in your inner universe, you say mentally, or you just feel it, simple. So I remove any self-awareness as false. I remove any self-awareness as false. I allow myself to express myself authentically and spontaneously. You know Saint Augustine, huge saint. It's not just saint, it's enlightened person. Saint Augustine, you heard about him, yeah? So he said in one sentence that if I would choose from all the sentences I ever heard, I would say that sentence has all the wisdom in itself. You don't need to add anything else. Everything is said in that one sentence. He said, love and do whatever you want, whatever you will. I'm not quoting, I'm transferring the inner meaning. So basically, love gives freedom to the will. Freedom of will can be found only in the state of being we call love. So it means, so when we say love, What is love? It's you. This I am feeling, that's love. This presence, that's love. That being. So when he said love, meaning identify with inner self, be that true self, which is love itself. You are that. As love or as true self, whatever you do will be harmonious. So you can give free license to yourself to express whatever you want, in whatever manner you want. And rest assured, any self-expression from this state of being is always harmonious, is always beneficial for you and from everyone else. And I'm giving you a kind of bypass. The best way is just I am this I am and express yourself freely. The difficulty is in these rogue consciousness programs and foreign elements, alien elements, entities present within your consciousness space. So that's why to prepare yourself to be able just to identify with this inner self and to express yourself freely, authentically, spontaneously, clear your consciousness space first. Is there any questions? Excellent. I know that you are not shy people, so it means I answered your questions in advance. Yes. Yes, excellent. Beautiful, beautiful. Imagine this freedom. That's amazing. And look at the fears. Just imagine to say to yourself, okay, I will say and do whatever comes to my mind. There is, who knows what can come out? No, that's this feeling of not controlling your consciousness space. And that means you need to expand your presence to feel your consciousness space to such an extent that no information, no energy can exist because it is such a dense presence that there is no space for anything else. And then you feel this freedom. That's the only legitimate freedom. Yes. Okay, it's hygiene. It's not enough to do it once. You cannot brush your teeth once for the rest of your life. You need to do it regularly. Even if they are artificial teeth, you need to do it regularly because you use them. So it's the same with our consciousness. Thank you so much for your brilliant, luminous presence. And see you in 10 days. 11 days, sorry.